Welcome back to Cherry Picking. In this week's video, we're going to attempt to replace the windshield seal on this 1972 F-250 4x4 highboy that I got to get out of my hair. That's right, we are back this week on the 72 highboy that we've been working on in a bunch of videos over the past few months. You haven't seen it in a few weeks, and that's because, well, haven't really done much with it for the past few weeks. We're waiting on the owner to come back, and he is actually going to be coming back and picking this truck up for good tomorrow. And one of the things that he wanted me to do on this truck, one of the very last things, was replacing the windshield seal, because unfortunately this windshield seal is a goner. There is nothing left to it, and it is basically as brittle as can be, and there are huge chunks missing out of it. So today we're going to attempt to replace this windshield seal, and I say attempt because I have not replaced one on these trucks before, and this should be fun. And alongside that, we've got a few other minor things we've got to finish up and tidy up on this truck before we can send it off to its forever home. Now, the last time you saw this truck, I went ahead and basically comet washed the entire truck, and we were able to bring out this beautiful medium lime green. We were able to bring out this beautiful medium lime metallic out on the hood as well as the rest of the truck again, and now the truck looks like an original paint, beautiful patina truck. It's the rig she always meant to be. But let's stop yapping and let's get into it. Let's change this windshield seal. Now, since the last time you saw this truck, we basically just tidied up a few more things in the interior, installed these nice supports, basically this nice racks. I don't know if I can discuss them much further than that, but we got some nice racks in here, and then we just cleaned up the interior. Nothing crazy. I polished up a lot of the chrome on the dash so that it actually shines a little bit. Same with the turn signal stock. This thing was pretty grungy before, still is, not perfect, but we did little things like chrome polishing the door handles, replacing lock knobs, stuff like that, just the little stuff to make this thing really pop. And as you can see there, you can see that nice green medium lime metallic hood, whereas before it was basically just brown. The rust had taken over entirely, and you actually could tell it was like two different colors from the fender to the hood and the cowl and the rest of the truck. This door came out really nice too. A lot of color came out on this. The bed, not as much. It had a lot of color still, kind of just took away some haziness. But overall, this 72 4x4 is really starting to really show its patina. Getting a lot of airflow from these nice vents that were factory installed. That's factory, don't worry about it. We also installed these window vents as per the owner's request. He wanted these vent shades basically so that he could crack open the window and roll it down just a hair, get some airflow. And I believe these ones are from LMC. They fit all right. They're not the best, but they work. And if you haven't watched the past 5 or 6 videos basically on this thing, this is a 72 Explorer package F-250 4x4, also known as a highboy. Basically, we put a lift kit on it, got the engine nice, clean, painted, shiny, ended up finding 2 dead cylinders with push rods that had, well, left the chat. Went ahead and put on these nice 16-inch Ford rims. These are 16x7s off of a later 80s and early 90s F-Series. They bolt right on, and they're a nice upgrade to your old F-250 if you want 16x7 patterns to run a little bit wider tire. And we have the Super Lugs, of course, which is pretty much the ultimate look for these old 4x4s, with the stainless steel dog dish hubcaps. These are factory Ford hubcaps. We actually did punch the centers out of the fronts because originally these never would have come with hubcaps, but we punched the centers out of some and got him a set so that they're all matching. I think it spruces them up just a little bit. It looks very factory, even though they didn't do it from the factory. And right here we have our windshield seal. This is a pretty heavy-duty seal. This is not with trim. This is a trimless seal, which should be a little bit easier. I know the ones with trim can be a huge pain in the butt. I believe this one is from Dennis Carpenter, but it seems pretty soft, but also pretty stout. So hopefully this isn't too bad. I have heard a bunch of horror stories about trying to do windshields on these trucks, unfortunately, and it doesn't help that this one is, well, 4 feet higher in the air. So the goal with this is basically to try to cut and or separate the rubber from the inside first. I'm going to try to do the inside. This rubber is extremely dry rotted, but I'm actually able to use a flathead screwdriver and basically pry it loose because it's so dry and cracked. So hopefully I can do that all the way across and separate it. And I've got this whole side done already. But basically we're just going to work our way all the way around, try to get every piece out of the inside, because then there's nothing holding it in, and we can very carefully pop it out the front and go set it somewhere safe. Okay, the whole inside is cut, and the problem with these windshields is that the drip rail kind of just runs right into where the seal needs to sit with the windshield. But if we cut off all of the middle and I'm able to slide the old seal, gotta peel off from the inside as I go too, and slide it out through one side. These sides are out too. Ooh, it's tight.
See if we can work it
Yep.
loose from the bottom.
Oh, hang on. All right. All right, let me get towards the middle. All right. Yep. Oh, just like that, it's out safely. So now we get to clean up. I'm gonna clean the windshield off really nice. Clean the drip rail, which has a bunch of old rope caulk, some old butyl or foam. Actually, I don't even know. It's kind of like foam almost. We're gonna clean it all up, get it nice and clean, put the new seal on, and then hopefully just pop it right back in. And no, it's not gonna be that easy, but we'll try. So now pretty much I just gotta clean this window channel, just gotta vacuum everything. There's a lot of dirt in this thing since it sat in the desert for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. All right, went ahead and got the gasket on. I will say so far this was the worst part. This gasket, I don't know exactly where it came from. I think it's a Dennis Carpenter gasket, but it is very, very tight on here. And it was a combination of Bondo putty knives. Where's your tool? But what seemed to help the most was this tool right here. This is a dogleg pick. You can see it's got a little bit of a kink to it off the end. This is an old Craftsman one. This is actually what we used to get the back window in the blue 67 that we did a window on. My dad really likes using these things, and this, especially because it's super smooth and has this little kick out, he was able to keep it away from the glass while carefully sliding this gasket over, because this front lip did not want to go over the glass. It's very, very tight, but we are ready finally to set it up in there. I did clean the channel. There is actually some old foam, because this is a replacement windshield, an older replacement windshield, but the foam that they laid here is actually in really good shape. It's very soft still. So we cleaned it up, and we're just gonna put the glass in over it because it'll help seal it.
You need to get gas and oil.
Okay, ready? All right. So he's working these tools underneath the lip, pulling the lip out past the edge of the spot welds for the windshield channel. And he's kind of just working his way all the way across. Hopefully we get to a point. This is where the problem with these windshields lies, is that the drip rail runs right into the gasket. So until you get it set in, it won't tilt back for you to get that seal around. A lot of guys use the rope method. That works. We're gonna try this and see if this works. Okay, so we got the window set in, and basically we were able to get the bottom down, and it is most of the way down. It's not fully set, but it's pretty darn close. In the middle, it's actually pretty much there. We'll need to get the picks on the front and basically flip the lip out on the front. But we were able to get it set down. It just took a few minutes of messing with. So far, it's only been about 10 minutes since we started this. And the sides and the bottom are basically in. So now it's just carefully moving the top along, which is a pain in the butt because the drip rail is still kind of in the way, even though the window feels like it's sat as much as it can. It probably will shift a little bit more, but it's basically where it needs to be. So now it's just the slow working our way towards the top to get it set and sealed in. And then we'll go back and make sure all the lips are pulled out and everything is seated all the way. So we'll be back when it's done. You can stop it, thank you. All right, and we went ahead and got this windshield fully set in now. Now I had to go somewhere and come back, but basically it only took about an hour and 15 minutes total from the beginning of trying to take out this windshield to getting it set in. It only took an hour 15 minutes, which was pretty fast, faster than I expected. In total, it was probably about 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes getting it actually in, from setting it down to fully seated, about 30 to 40 minutes. And basically, we were able to do it without doing the rope method. Now, I know everyone out there is going to tell you to do the rope method, and well, that works just fine, I guess. The problem with the rope method is this. One, you have to lubricate the crap out of your windshield and the seal, meaning that once you get the seal in, you now have a bunch of wet stuff inside that has to dry out and or clear out, and sometimes that lubrication kind of stays in there, and it may not always be perfectly sealed, or it might stop a little bit sooner. Now, it works fine for most people, and it works, and most people wouldn't even notice. But we did it completely without lubrication, which was a little bit harder because this seal is very fresh and very sticky. But the other issue with trying to do it with the rope method is if you screw up a little bit, if you pull the rope and it doesn't flip the seal on the other side of your windshield lip, then you're screwed. You basically either have to figure out a way to get a tool in there to pull it and fix it, or you have to start all over. And the method we did, we're able to go in there multiple times, go back and forth, and stop whenever we wanted to, and just keep pulling at it. And basically, my dad was able to get this dog leg pick, and he slowly worked it, specifically the way that the direction of his. He started on the driver's side of the top. Basically, getting the bottom set in was actually pretty easy. Getting the bottom and sides, not too bad at all. It was then getting the top to sit down far enough to get past the drip rail, and then pulling that rubber from the top side was definitely tight. That probably took the longest. I would say that took almost 20 minutes going from the very top over there to the top over here. That took quite a while, at least in the sense of things. But honestly, I would say 30 to 40 minutes getting a windshield in and not cracking it, that's a pretty good deal. Now, this is immensely harder if you have trim. So if you have trim, go find a different video, because that's not what I'm doing here. We're doing it without trim. It was pretty easy. Now, this seal isn't perfect. It's manufactured pretty good, but it's not perfect. And it will settle in a little bit more as it sits in the sun and as time goes on. So I will be peeling some of these edges back because some of them curled under a little bit and it needs to fully seat inward. But I've driven around with it quite a bit. I've already gone basically speed limit, highway speed limit, and it was fine. It didn't move, it didn't shift, it didn't make noise. It's nice and tight and airtight. So, but the windshield is fully in now. We've got our windshield wipers back on, which do have new wiper blades, thankfully. And the windshield is also cleaner than it was before. So now we can move on to the fun stuff. We basically are going to finish up this truck by making all the lights work and adding in a bunch of switches, and then just kind of tidying it up. So let's get to it. And no, I'm not actually that tall. I have a step stool here because, well, this truck's a big truck. And like I said, it's not perfect. There actually is the lip here that needs to be pulled up, but this whole thing needs to seat and sit in the sun. Looks a whole lot better, and will seal from the elements, which is the main goal. Now, the next item on the list is rearview mirror. This truck has never actually had one, and now that we put the new windshield seal in and the windshield is in, we're going to put one in. So I just have a generic one that's older, but it looks like it came in this truck, or at least close to it. It actually came out of another truck from the floor, parts trucks. But pretty much simple. You clean the area that you're putting it on, you clean the mounting tab, you prime it with the primer, prime the glass with the primer, put a dot of this stuff on. I did get the Permatex because that seems to work the best for me. And then you hold it on there for a minute and, well, you let it sit for at least 30 minutes, if not longer. Prime where we're going to put it. I'm putting it just right in the center of the windshield. Now we can put our dot on here. Nice dot. And we're going to push it on here and hold it for a minute. And now we wait. Alright, it has been quite a while now, probably a few hours, so we're ready to slide our mirror on. We'll tighten up that set screw just enough. Definitely don't want to overdo it because it will pop it off. Get it just tight enough, and there we go. Now it's got a mirror. All right, it's been a few hours and we've got this thing pretty well tidied up. We're pretty much right at the finish line. We went ahead and my dad actually was the one who ran some more wires and wired in, where is it? A relay. Wired in a relay for the fog lights because they were not relayed at all, and those things pull a lot of amps. And we actually have the cargo light switch. We put in a factory style cargo light switch, which hopefully you can see. This is a correct factory cargo switch. That was weird. Blanked. It's in the correct position, but it actually runs that cargo light, which was on this truck when we found it. Actually, that's a slightly different one, but it basically gives you at least some sort of cargo light back here. You can see it on back there, so that's wired in. He also went ahead and tidied up all the wires. Don't mind all this is for the dash, but all the wires underneath are all tidied up. We've got our mirror up there, as you can see, and it's patina is one way I'd put it, but it's mirror and it works. And if we come to the back of the truck, this is where we've been finishing things up. We actually went ahead and got a tack. We have this Stuart Warner tack that the customer wanted, and it fits nicely inside there. Even though it doesn't match the factory Ford font, at least there's a working tack to have instead of just a big hole. And then we actually wired up the fog lights on a switch right here where there was already a hole, and then basically moved this awesome little glass red indicator light and hooked it up so that it's tied with the fog lights so that you can see when your fog lights are on. And as the sun starts to set, we're basically at the end of our journey with this truck. We're basically gonna just get this dash hooked up, hooked in, but that's pretty much gonna do it on this truck. So I'm gonna wait till it gets a little bit darker so that I can get some cool shots with all the new lights, because now we have fog lights on the front that all work. And then we will say goodbye to this truck. I will not see it off, but it actually is leaving tomorrow morning. And well, it's been, gosh, since I started working on this thing, it's been basically 4 months, because I saw it late December and it's now mid-April. So I've had this thing 4 months and done a lot to it, done a whole bunch since the customer came back with finishing the lift kit, fixing the motor and figuring out why it had 2 dead cylinders, and then fixing all the paint on this thing and just making sure everything worked, which is the whole goal, is just to get this old girl working again and back to its former glory. And I think we did that. Now, a lot of people are going to be totally upset at the way that I chose to go about some of the things in here, and you know what? That's okay, because, well, you don't have the truck. And sometimes you just got to do what you're going to do. And if you want to just enjoy something, sometimes you don't get it right, you just get it running. And I think that's really what we did here. I mean, we did do a lot of right things, like putting in relays so that the truck doesn't catch on fire. In fact, to be fair, I don't think I actually did anything technically wrong. I just did some things that, well, and the moral of the story is if you don't go wrenching on your truck or wrenching on your vehicle or going to work on any of your projects, they're never going to get done. So get out there, go get your projects done. Now let's see this thing in action. Okay, and the sun is officially down, but we've got the dash set in here. I still have to screw it in, but if you take a look, dash switch is rough, but if you take a look, everything lights up. They're a little dim, so it's probably hard to see, but we've got all our gauges, and if we turn the key on and turn the truck on, they get real bright, but see, the tack works. And all of our gauges seem to be working. Only thing not hooked up is the speedometer. Vacuum is not hooked up currently because I need to get a vacuum gauge. Ooh, it is dark. And even the radio came back to life. We don't know if it works because there's no speakers in here, but it shows some signs of light. And we'll go ahead and pull the cargo light. There's the cargo light. And lastly, the fog lights, which has a switch right there. And they only come on when the headlight's on, but there we go, we got fog lights. This thing is officially done. Well, I gotta put the dash back in, but it is officially done. It has been 4 months of working on this truck, and it's time to see it go and spread its wings. Fly, eagle, fly. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this one this week. Don't worry, we are getting back on the 66 Ford Country Sedan wagon. Just need some parts first and need to figure out some things first, but hope you enjoyed the video on this 1972 Ford F-250 Highboy. We put in that new windshield. We got all these lights working, the dash all working, all put back together. And now it's done, it's gone, it's leaving. This thing is done. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Leave me a like, comment, subscribe even if you want to see more content like this. And as always, I'll see you next week on Cherry Picking. See ya. Even the taillights work. Cargo light definitely needs some positioning because it actually points all the way out here. Yeah, pretty far.